All right, everybody, we are talking about scheduling today. Really important part of the entire process, and I like to take a big emphasis on scheduling for cultivation as well as just for life in general. So, very good to make a plan and have a game plan going into things. So, this first one is going to be scheduling for a pheno hunt. This is when you're starting from seed. I like to start with just an overall goal and then a plan, and I'll work out a sheet of my plan, and then I'll go on and make a more specific calendar from there on. So I'll identify my goal, and it is to obtain the perfect cut of ICC or lava cake, ice cream cake or lava cake, based on their taste, smell, and color. Yield is not important for me. This could be flipped if you're going for production where yield is important, and you'll just change your goal accordingly. Plan, start 4 seeds from each strain of the ICC and the lava, and then week 1, germination, label as number 1, number 2, etc. Week 2, record germination success ratio and other notes. No nutrients, in my opinion, for these first 2 weeks of seed. Week 3, introduce nutrients with a low EC, likely 1.0, and transplant if they are ready, or if you started them in their full-size pots already, then you don't have to worry about a transplant. I'm a big fan of that. But if you're starting a lot in cell trays, then you will transplant in this window. Also, and once they're established between 3 and 4, you want to top your plants, and get them going on their training. Week 4, have transplanted and move along quickly. At this point, week 4 and 5, I'm starting to introduce trellis nets as well. So have transplanted, moving along. Week 5, remove lower growths. Consider auxiliary clones. If the plant's at this point, if it's moving along quickly and it's nice and big, you can start taking auxiliary clones of lower branches that wouldn't make it to top quality anyway. So you can just take them off and do some pruning ahead of time. Take them as clones and label them as such. Lava cake number 1, 2 from the clone plant, so you know which copy it is. Prefer flower, take clones of all phenotypes, and establish trellis netting plus scrog. At this point, you want to take clones of every single phenotype, so that way you can have genetic backups and determine what your winner is from the trial, and then go ahead and keep that one in rotation and get rid of the rest of the clones. But you need to have genetic backups of all of them, so take clones in this window before they go to flower. Week 7, flip to flower, take clones beforehand. Week 8, nutrients, flip to bloom cycle and increase EC. Week 9, maintain. 10, maintain skirt and mild default between the first weeks of flower until the end of week 3. You can do skirting on your plants. This is during their stretch window. They're going to be stretching a lot and going towards your lights, moving upward a lot. So make sure you have that planned into it to remove lower growths and increase airflow in the skirting. Week 11, maintain defoliation. 12, 13, 14, cut off nutrients. EC should go to 0, and then harvest. So I'll break this down into weeks, and I'll just do little bubbles here. So week 2, I could say environment 75, 65, and then started the seeds. They got 100% germination. And then week 2, I could say the environment and all seeds survived, or some of them passed away, and now we only have 3 of each, or 3, 4. And so you just take greater notes here, and then I'll take this weekly note, like kind of goals and stuff I have planned for that, and I'll move it onto a whiteboard with my daily plans. I'll say, today I got to increase my EC and defoliate, increase my light intensity, and just water only, So you can take this and move it through your different formats that work for you. And that first plan, this was based off of starting from seed. So week 1 through 4 can really be cut out or adjusted if you are doing perpetual. So I wanted to make a separate schedule for that. So from clone, perpetually, week 1 and 2 are for rooting the clone. But for the sake of perpetual growth, facilities usually already have them good to go. Like they'll just line it up and sync up their calendars and everything, so that when they harvest a room, the plants are already ready to move into it, and there's no downtime. So your flower spaces are never empty. Week 1. So we're just going to assume that when you cut your flower down in that space, your clones are already rooted. So we're starting from that perspective. Week 1, veg time, minimal EC. 1.0, temperature 78. You want it a little higher and humid. 80 would be great, but we'll keep it at 78 and 70%. Top plants in the week 1 to 2 window. Week 2, increase EC to 1.3, 1.5, increase light intensity. If, let's say, you started at 30%, push it up to 40, maybe 50. Week 3, veg. Introduce trellis, get them scrogged out, boost EC light percentages. And then week 4, a lot of people will just do 2 weeks of veg, 2 to 3 weeks depending on their plant size. I might go 4 depending on your project that you're working on. but in this window you'll start flipping to flower between week 2 and week 4 of veg, depending on your plant size and your goals for them. Week 1 of flower, you're going to want to flip nutrients from glow to bloom. That means reducing nitrogen, increasing phosphorus, increasing potassium, and then your EC should be about 2.0 or higher. Week 2 of flower, we're going to increase lights, feed, and reducing temps from 76 to 74. You could keep 76, but I just start to decrease at that point. Humidity still around 60%. In this week 2 to week 4 of flower, you have your skirt window where you can remove lower growths and increase airflow in your underside of your plant, remove branches. But after week 3, you want to not do that, so that's what I put skirt window here. So for week 3 flower plants, done stretching at the end of the week. So you want to just go ahead and keep your EC nice and high, 2.5, lights at full percent. Temperature, drop it to 74, 60% humidity. Week 4 flower bulking starts. The stretching is done. EC is 2.5. Week 5 of flower, your bulking is still continuing, 2.5, temperature 74. At night, I'm dropping it a little lower. Week 6, flower maintain and defoliate. Your EC is going to start tapering off from here, 2.0, and then getting lower from there. And then at this point, I'm starting to keep my temperatures a little lower, 272. As the bulking continues, I don't want to develop any bud rot. The week 7 flower taper, EC down to 1.0, and then 0 to flush the plant out of any heavy metals from your nutrients and the salts as well. So all water from week 7.5 on out, that 10 days, in my opinion, 7 to 10 days of flushing. Week 8 is all no EC, just water, and then you harvest. So I like having a nice plan ahead of time so that I can kind of see where I'm at if I'm in week 4 and say, all right, am I keeping to the plan? I need to get this, going into flower. I need to take my clones. I'm never taking clones without a purpose. I'm always doing it based off of the schedule, and it always fits into the greater plan. So I just have just the right amount every single time, and I like having a plan like this. You should consider just writing one out, and you could use a digital format as well, a spreadsheet, Excel sheets. It's all free. So you can just make a plan and be better prepared to get your cycles in tune and get everything going as smoothly as possible. So this is just a good example. We will do some later as well. Cheers.